Hello guys, I want it to be known, I planned to make this video a long time ago, but some technical difficulties happened and also I just got a bit lazy, so it's time to finish this.
Just buying any old toothpaste, to be fair.
I wanted to react to a wrestler Goji Saga. Since I've always been on Goji's side, you guys know what, I'm a Indominus Rex stan, I'm always gonna be on her side, but I can't be a dick. You know, I can't just be blinded by my loyalty to one side, since the others have points, and I can't just be blinded to one side.
I was too, but the new Colgate Total Active Prevention regime is
this one if that's the case. But for everyone else who's been waiting, today is the day. Today we not only bring back Hank, the hybrid that started the war, but also make him...
Sorry, that's part 2. We'll have to watch part 2 later. Here. What we're reacting to was part 1, no part 2. Sorry for the spoilers. Let me find where part 1 was. Here's where part 1 was.
It's the spooky month. Hi everybody, and here, come gather on the fire. One of my favorite things I've done on this channel is working with my amazing artist Valerie, go follow her on Instagram by the way, and making all sorts of hybrids. Godzilla hybrids, dinosaur hybrids, and xenomorph hybrids. Just non-stop combinations of monsters.
I really like her art. And who knows, maybe if me and her ever work together, she can make my kaiju, we'll see ya.
And man, do I love them all near and dear. They're all cooked up in my radioactive brain, and drawn beautifully by my artist. I sure would hate for something to happen to them. No! Spinosaurus, my baby! Who did this to you? You! For so long, I was the guy that made the hybrids. And right as I step my foot into the Jurassic scene, Goji Center pulls the rug under my feet and flattens my dinosaurs with their own marvelous creation, the Indom 2.0. This beast shreds through my dinosaurs. The only way my guys could stand a chance is if they worked together in perfect unison. But they couldn't. They're all dead. Eaten alive by Goji Center's beast. But that ends now. Today in the Goji Guy Laboratories, I will be developing a dinosaur. No, a monster. So violent, so deadly, so unkillable. It will put the Indom 2.0 6 feet under in a heartbeat. Today we'll be making the Indom 2.0's killer. The Indom at the end of this video will be nothing more than a piece of candy stuck in his teeth. Happy Halloween everybody, and let's get cooking. And the nice thing about this channel is that realism, yeah, it was never a part of this channel, which off the bat is our biggest advantage. While Goji Center is bound and held back by real-world science, ours, yeah, no. Our dino flips the bird to evolution and physics. So let's start with a baseline dinosaur to build onto. Let's start with the Spinosaurus, shall we? The Spino provides a body that is large but simple, allowing us to add onto it with ease. Even so, the Spino is already a formidable opponent. With his long arms and strong jaw, this allows our dino to be blessed with a long reach, allowing us to attack our enemy while they can't hit us. But let's continue. Let's add the Giganotosaurus, giving us superb durability, along with strong legs and an incredible bite. Already we have a deadly hybrid on our hands. But we want to take down the Indom 2.0, so we need a lot more. Next up is the main component of our enemy, the Indominus Rex. The Indom gives us a plethora of other dino DNA, such as T-Rex, Velociraptor, Therizinosaurus...
Since they're both the Indom, would we be able to talk to one another? Comment down below your theories if you believe yes or no. I believe they could
Masukas, and much more, boosting us even further. She also brings longer claws, deadly sharp teeth, and thermal vision. And all of that is good, but the most important part now is that we are now part Indom. Meaning we'll know how the Indom 2.0 fights, how it behaves, how it functions. And lastly for Dino DNA, we'll be taking in the first ever hybrid dino, the Scorpius Rex. Not only are we adding it to the pot...
This is the main problem with with this video. I bet if he didn't add her, it would be great. Now, let me explain. She in lore would realistically have seizures, have aneurysms, and probably has cancer. I love the Scorpius Rex, I love her, she's great, you know, she's beautiful, but her health-wise isn't. I love the Scorpius Rex, but she ain't good. You know, she's not well, in the head or in her body, so something like that you don't want with DNA of. You know, I don't want to be that guy, but she is she's an abomination. I don't want to use that word because that's mean, but she is.
But firstly, we'll be altering his DNA, making his venom much more potent and deadly. But here's where it gets super unnecessarily broken. Now for context, most scaled animals have similar features to hairy animals when it comes to oil production. Like how your or my hair produces oil, some scaled animals rely on a combination of mucus and natural oil to keep them healthy. This is where things get broken. we're not only changing the venom of the Scorpius, as you'll see in a moment, we're changing how it comes out. While sure, the Dino will still have quills, it's also not producing it for every single one of its scales, making it so that if you bite or slash at it, you will one way or another get toxin within you. And the toxin, well, here's what we did. Now, within seconds, the enemy's blood congeals, making it so that the Indom 2.0 hits us, its own blood solidifies in its body, making it agonizing to move, and slowly killing the Indom as there's now no blood flow throughout the body. And thanks to Scorpius, we're also now immune to any sort of disease. So I believe there's now already an argument to be held. This custom dino is already practically unstoppable. Even the Indom 2.0 would have some issues, as anywhere it tries to bite or cut, it could start to kill itself. And our dino could also deal some hard hits. But we aren't done just yet. We want to make sure that no matter what Goji Center or any other channel in the future creates, this silly dino will still stay on top. Next up is chameleon DNA. This allows us to camouflage even better, and we also have near 360-degree vision. That paired with the thermal vision already makes...
Okay, let's get back to work, guys.
It's impossible for anything to sneak up on us, and that also gives us a very strong and prehensile tail, allowing us to practically hang from trees and hide. But we of course aren't done yet. Next up is the bite. Goji Center's Indom 2.0's main feature is its insane bite, and I promised myself I wouldn't use anything they used, so instead we're using the behemoth that is the Dunkleosteus. Now it's hard to say how strong the Dunk's bite is, but researchers say somewhere between 11,000 pounds per square inch all the way up to 80,000 pounds. Now, why not the Megalodon, you may ask? While yes, it's widely speculated the Megalodon has a stronger bite, we're actually using the Dunk for its quick snapping attributes, as the way its jaw works allows it to rapidly snap its jaw shut, meaning that if the Indom 2.0 is unlucky enough to have any of its body near the mouth, it will be gone before it can even realize. But there's still one big issue, the arms. The Indom 2.0 has some massive arms, so what will we add to counter it? An orangutan? An elephant? Nope. A shrimp. Yes, really. Specifically, the pistol shrimp. As those who don't know what
the Indominus Rex could still do this. Like, I don't care how strong you are, if you could do this, or this, or this, or this, you're basically screwed, because opposable forms, they're a hell of a treat.
The pistol shrimp is, let me explain. The pistol shrimp, despite its small size, is one of the most dangerous animals on the planet. This because of their method of attack. Now, it makes them hit so hard is due to many factors, but the main ones being, 1, their claws operate like a lever, amplifying the force of their snap. And 2, their claws close incredibly fast, often hitting their target over 50 miles an hour. Now, while we haven't given the dino claws, we'll give it the pistol shrimp's fast muscles, allowing the dinosaur to attack at lightning speeds, with one hell of a...
That's why it failed. If it just gave it claws and actually had the snapping power, it still wouldn't work, because he has to be underwater.
Much behind it. And to add on further, the pistol shrimp, even though it's only around 2 inches in length, are able to punch with roughly 150 pounds of force, hitting so fast they vaporize the water around them in the process. Scaling those tiny arms up to our dino, looking at a dinosaur that in a blink of an eye could hit you with hundreds of tons of force. Pretty much imagine a tugboat slamming into you at 150 miles an hour. Yeah, no matter who you are, that will not be a fun time. So everything is together. Time to mix it all up. The Spino's body length, the Giga's strength with the Indom's muscle mass, the claws and fangs of the Indom, the quills and toxin of the Scorpius, the fast muscles for the arms and jaw from the shrimp and Dunk, the shrimp's headpiece is a sharp skull, good for headbutting and stabbing, a thick tail from the Dunkleosteus, perfect for speedy swimming, and the eyes, a custom touch. So the last
happy late Halloween, I guess.
thing the Indom 2.0 sees are bright red eyes. Fusing all these animals together, and you're left...
That's why I hate all these channels, in a way. I love them all, but they're like, oh, this monster will have a skull pattern to put fear in, or it'll have red eyes, or like, why is it all stereotypical? Like, why not have this monster has a bunch of holes in his arm to give a phobia of holes, or this monster looks like a clown to be clownophobia, this monster is made of gold to be the gold phobia, this monster is on fire to be the fire phobia. Like, it's always red eyes, or a skull, or both. Like, just think of something original, please.
With Hank. Yes, really, that's his name. Hank is a freakish beast, not meant for the real world. His only... Really, that's his name. Hank is a
No offense, Hank, I'm just kind of tired of all stereotypicalness.
Freakish beast, not meant for the real world. His only purpose is to avenge his fallen brethren, the Gigaraptor, Spinonotosaurus, Indominus, and the Anchiceratops. I think I can say comfortably, we have made a dinosaur that is able to take down the Indom 2.0. Whether he dies afterwards isn't the matter. The only goal is to take out the Indom, and his goal is completed. But Goji Center's smart.
Alright, come on.
The matter. The only goal is to take out the Indom, and his goal is completed. But Goji Center's smart, crafty, hell, I'd even say brilliant. Whether they mean to or not, they will someday design another dinosaur, one that not even Hank could stand a chance against. So we've taken it one step further, and added an animal so stupidly powerful, it has been deemed as the unkillable animal, the tardigrade. The tardigrades, despite being a microscopic organism, are by far the most resilient creatures on the planet, being able to handle temperatures from negative 458 degrees Fahrenheit and all the way up to 302 degrees Fahrenheit. They can survive insane pressure over 6,000 times the standard atmosphere. Pressure that strong can turn gas into liquid, and turn liquids into solids. They can tank radiation like a champ, they can survive years without water, they can withstand high levels of toxins and extreme pH levels, and they can even survive the vacuum of space. Not even the great beyond, that is the boundlessness of space, can kill these guys. So, I think it's safe to say, Hank wins this battle. Thank you all very much for watching, and go out there and have a fun Halloween. And I want to clarify, there is no beef between me and Goji Center. This video is done entirely for fun, and in the spirit of Halloween. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Dino and Kaiju content. But, as always, keep trick-or-treating. Goji Guy, out. See ya.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, not everything's about tricks. Sometimes stuff is about treats as well. Now, I just gotta pause recording here. You guys probably wondered to me, Josh, why didn't you ever do the Indominus Rex proving the Jurassic Park you were on? Well, that's why I planned on reacting to all of them, because I wanted to show their side of the story, not just Goji Center's. Hey guys. We're in Dangerville to react to, where is it? This one. Since the whole new thing, this might be the last video of the Indominus Rex 2.0, so maybe I should ever do, reacting to every video she was in, Comment down below if you guys would want to see it. Would have to be a year later though. Just gonna pause recording now. Okay, I hope you're all ready. Oh. Don't know why it's not working. It's meant to be working. Sorry. Okay, come on, let's get back to work.
By now you've probably all seen the Indominus 2.0.
Yeah, I've actually made a couple of videos on it.
It's been making waves across the community right now for being a walking extinction event. The deadliest carnivore ever cooked up in a lab. It tore through Goji Guy's hybrid, and now many more have stood up
to challenge the claw on him. He did it all to himself.
Challenge Goji Center's Hell Beast. But can any of them stand a chance against the hyper-evolved Indominus Rex? Let's find out. To make the ultimate predator, we need to know what we're facing against. The Indominus 2.0 stands 18 feet tall with a length of 43 feet, and unlike her theropod counterpart, walks on all fours, which means she's a more efficient ambush predator. She has even larger and stronger arms with even sharper claws, which are capable of slashing, gripping and throwing. Even tougher osteoderm armor protecting it from heavy attacks, and most important of all, a stronger, more lethal bite. It's safe to say that Indo 2.0 is an improvement in practically every factor compared to the previous incarnation.
But is she? We'll find out.
But like everything, it can be beaten. But how?
Spiele jetzt War Thunder. Messe dich mit Millionen Spielern in massiven Schlachten auf Panzern, Flugzeugen und Helikoptern im...
Well, for us, we need to reach into another universe entirely. Terracosm. This is something that us at Dangerville and Goji Center have been working on for quite some time now. In this universe, there is a war between humanity and a great monster swarm that burst from the core of the planet. Humanity came out on top, but victory was hollow. The cost was catastrophic. Our greatest minds, our most advanced machines, our spirits, they all perished in the war. What remained of humanity was broken, reduced to a shadow of its former glory. Now, in the 31st century, monsters are returning, stronger, deadlier, from the depths of the frozen wasteland once called Antarctica, now known only as Terracosm. In this universe, a scientist, Dr. Shinsei, aiming to control the monsters, creates a prototype neural control device that taps directly into monster brainwaves. However, when his initial tests fail to give him full control, he realizes the beast's primal consciousness is too alien and complex to manipulate without a deeper connection. His ambitious solution: integrate kaiju DNA into his own neural tissue.
Turn himself to a monster.
So he can resonate with their minds on a genetic level. He modifies himself, not realizing that this will eventually trigger a transformation beyond his control. The fusion of human and kaiju DNA begins to distort his body, reshaping him into a demonic kaiju-human hybrid. What we're left with is Primatus Rex, the Primate King, part man, part monster. A hyper-intelligent creature with the body of a heightened predator, enhanced in every measurable way. His size increased to 25 feet tall, leaning over even the largest of carnivores. But the mutation affects not only his appearance, but also his instincts. His human mind has become overwhelmed with urges and primal impulses that erode his original goals, replacing it with an insatiable urge to conquer. He begins to lose his humanity, unable to distinguish where his mind ends and the kaiju begins. But what makes Primatus the ultimate predator? Starting with the baseline of the most deadly predator that ever walked the face of the earth, mankind. The de-evolution process mixed monster DNA with that of humanity's ancestors: Gorgonopsians, Australopithecus, Procinosuchus. Human DNA holds the code for these ancient ancestors, and the monster genes have unlocked the most deadly traits from each of these beasts. Coated in bright orange fur and tough scaly skin, Primatus is an extremely dense, muscly beast, with huge primate arms suited to predators due to their strength, flexibility, and dexterity, allowing for effective hunting, climbing, and grasping. The long muscular arms enables Primatus Rex to reach out and capture its prey, to tear it limb from limb. Additionally, the opposable thumbs enhance their ability to handle and manipulate objects, tools, or prey with precision. And at the end of the fingers are massive sharp claws which can even rend through metal. Possibly its greatest advantage is heightened intelligence, with advanced problem-solving abilities and strategic planning. It can set traps, craft tools, learn and exploit weaknesses, and adapt quickly to new threats. This cognitive edge allows Primatus Rex to not only survive, but dominate its ecosystem, staying one step ahead of its rivals. And because of its humanoid vocal cords, it still has the ability to speak in its native tongue, mocking you with cruel taunts about the doom that awaits you. Thanks to the mutated kaiju DNA.
This is kind of a fucked up question, but do you think he'd say slurs? Because like in Far Cry 2, a game all about war and history, they use the R word, and in war, people say slurs. So you think he'd say, slurs at you? You think he'd say slurs at you? Because I kind of believe he would say slurs, like, you fucking R words to the Indominus Rex. I won't say it, of course, so maybe you fucking N words. I won't say the words, but if you can read between the lines and know what those slurs mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to sound evil, but I think it'd be kind of funny to imagine, a monster screaming at you like an Xbox Live concerts. That'd be funny. I mean, it's not funny. Okay, it is funny because it's a fucking monkey. Okay, it's funny.
Primatus has access to light psychic abilities, which allows it to control lesser beings.
This is why I love the Indominus Rex 2.0. No powers. She's not like
Velociraptors and
turtles, rock, rain, fire. I have winds that come out of my back, or I can summon the dead back to life. She's just like, I'm a really strong animal.
small monsters submit and serve this titanic beast, providing backup and extra teeth to overwhelm his opponents. However, due to introducing psychic abilities to the humanoid mind, his brain has been forced to adapt by expanding and bursting from his spine, leaving him with a noticeable weakness.
Look, I get this guy's a kaiju and all, but how the hell is he not dead?
Spots protected only by a weak telekinetic shield. However, he has the capabilities to create armor and has his minions covering his back in case of ambush. This part of the brain enables its psychic abilities. However, if wounded, Primatus loses synaptic link of its minions.
Look, I don't know that guy, but I think honestly, if they were in a fight to the death, Indominus 2.0 could just fucking Sub-Zero her.
He can still fight alone, which is more than enough. Moving on to possibly one of the most important aspects to any predator, its skull, sporting forward-facing eyes, making it a top hunter. With a long snout filled with dozens of razor-sharp teeth, his teeth are capable of slashing and stabbing through even the toughest of flesh. And with a skull shape similar to that of a T-Rex, it has the ability to even crush bone, meaning anything is on the menu for Primatus Rex.
Probably except a salad.
Primatus,
I'm not calling him fat, I'm saying he's a carnivore.
Also has a long, thick tail, and at the end, a thagomizer. This can be...
I liked Godzilla's thagomizer, but he never really used it in the movie. That's why I never really liked Evolved Godzilla. Like, oh, Godzilla evolved, but he shot his atomic breath, atomic breath was good enough already, so... maybe I'm gonna sound meaner, but I really don't think Godzilla needed to evolve in the sequel. It just felt like Godzilla needs to evolve for the next movie, and he just needed to evolve in this movie because he needed time to evolve in the next movie. Like, he just wasn't that strong. He was barely any use, so we didn't feel a difference. Or at least I didn't feel a difference while watching him.
Used for tripping opponents up like a hook, and even piercing the flesh of attacking opponents. Many primates' tails can hold their entire weight, and Primatus would be no different, being able to grab and throw around the enemy. And thanks to Primatus' improved immune system, he's resilient to sickness and despair. With feel no pain, he feels nothing but the grasp of insanity. Primatus,
whereas mine starts to fall far from the beast,
is adorned with a permanent grin, a visual reminder of the glee this monster will get when it tears into the flesh of its adversaries. It's an intelligent beast built with the best traits from Earth's most deadly predators.
So if it's all based off Earth's predators, where does supernatural power come from?
However, is it enough to take down Goshi Center's living extinction event? To find out, let's see how it fares against its predecessor, Indominus Rex.
See, this is what I hate about it. The Indominus Rex, in lore, was a juvenile. She's basically a teenager. Now, look, I know we're monsters, so age doesn't matter. This is basically going to be a grown man beating a teenage girl to death. So, instead of thinking about this as, oh, he's beating the monster to death, just imagine these were two humans, okay? Imagine they were all humanized, and this was a grown man beating a teenage girl to death. As I made this joke with my sister, oh, what's your favorite video, Josh? Oh, mine's when a grown man beats a teenage girl to death. She was like, why the fuck would you say something so dark? I'm like, well, what's wrong? And then so... As I said, oh my god, I thought you were talking about humans. I said, what? Does the Indominus Rex not count just because she's a dinosaur? She's still a teenage girl. She still died young.
I learned English in just 1 month. You can do it too.
Let's start practicing English. Oh, what is your name?
This is how you start Robot Invasion, fans. animation kind of looks a bit bad, you know, but it's county. Your main girl, Blue. Yes, boss. They're all just recalls of Blue. That's not accurate to the movie. This is definitely an Auraformin moment. Have you seen Auraformin moments? This is an Auraformin moment.
Koji Center, you cannot defeat me.
You viewers go let Goji Center know he has a new challenger, and he's hungry. If you want to destroy cities as this monster, download Excedio the Kaiju Simulator, where you can play as Primatus Rex. It's available on Steam, so give it a try.
You know, actually, I'm gonna get this at a Logitech like James, so I might play this game next year.
You can also bring home our new Primatus plush toy, where you can scare your cats with it. Don't worry, it doesn't bite. Yet.
Heart.
Subscribe and stomp the notification button to keep up to date with the hybrid war, and give us a thumbs up if you support our creature, Primatus Rex. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.
Well guys, this is the final thing. I'll react to the Goji Sir side of it. Because I'll be, you know, they made a channel to Goji Sir. They also actually made a response video, but I haven't reacted to any response videos yet. Where is it? It's here somewhere. There's a fire one, zombie one. Yeah, okay, Goji Sir here.
G'day.
It's Harry from Abergavenny.
How's up?
I forgot my brother-in-law and he drinks fancy pants beer. What do I do?
Pour the amber nectar into an old jam jar and
Tell him to shut the fuck up and stop being such a diva.
just call it something obscure.
Brilliant, thanks guys.
No worries.
It's called Voodoo Jazz Hat.
Foster's, good call.
Seriously, just tell him to stop being a petty bitch.
The killing machine that is Indominus 3.0. Goji Center's...
It's 2.0! Where does everyone say 3.0? It's 2.0, dude! No hate, but 2! Not 3, it's 2!
hybrid monstrosity, able to take on anything in existence. Or so they thought. They said this upgraded version of the hybrid dinosaur Indominus Rex was nigh on unbeatable. Well, that's not entirely true, and I have the proof to back this up. And not only that, there's a horrifying monster that could actually take this down. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You see, I'm a massive fan of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, exactly like Goji. And clearly, when they made the Indominus Rex 3.0, they're using Jurassic World's logic. They're using their hybrid theory. Hell, they're even using their own dinosaurs, so clearly set in the world of Jurassic World. But then they try and ground it with some realism, and we're going to try and do exactly the same thing to debunk this Indominus Rex.
I agree with him, actually. You can't make something, and then there's one. Oh, we create DC Comics. We have Batman, who can't fly and has no powers. We have Superman, who can fly, breathe in space, and have laser vision. What do you want, realistic or not realistic? You can't pick, you have to pick one, no?
Rex 3.0 as not being the top predator because that title belongs to someone else. But first off, let's look at the makeup of the Indominus Rex 3.0 compared to the original. And before we go any further, I'd like to say I'm a huge fan of their channel, and this for me was something I couldn't resist.
I'm probably not going to react to a Hall of Shame because it's just images. It's kind of boring.
And it's just a friendly bit of fun, so don't take this serious, guys. I don't have beef with Goji. Now immediately you might be thinking that's the Endo 2.0. Well, in Goji's own words, they don't upgrade it. The 3.0 is exactly the same as the 2.0. They don't believe it needs upgrading. But comparing the original and the 2.0/3.0, you'll notice a
that was my original thumbnail.
stark contrast. It's missing several dinosaurs. In fact, the 2.0 has only 9 species of genome, where the original actually has 13. They decided to take out the Therizinosaurus, the Deinosuchus, the Giga, the Carno, the Rugops, and the Majungasaurus. Therizinosaurus, the Deinosuchus, the Giga.
Oops. Wait a second, guys. I forgot to unpause again. It's really annoying. Fucks up again. Great.
The Carno, the Rugops, and the Majungasaurus. And replaced it with great ape, the Saurophaganax, short-tailed shrew, dwarf crocodile, and a whip-tailed lizard, believing it to be the upgraded version. Well, I'm telling you now, that isn't going to be the case. Well, these changes actually has led to its downfall. You see, removing them genomes has now made the genome of the Indominus 3.0 just under 70% small animal. The only large animals now in its genome are the Tyrannosaurus and the Saurophaganax, and we can't just rely on
Bet Victor. New customers can get £30 in bonuses and 30 free spins when you wager £10.
on that small portion to make up the huge animal which they're displaying as the Indominus. Well, the Indominus 3.0. Now I know you might be thinking, well, the size of the Indominus 3.0 can come from the T-Rex or the Saurophaganax, right? Well, wrong. You see, the size of the original Indominus came from the Giganotosaurus DNA. You know, the one that Goji has now removed. The Tyrannosaurus genome was for the bite force.
We know how big the Gigan is from the movies, and the art is really cool.
And that carries over into the new.
The unknown is the human fairy. Comment down below if you believe in the human fairy. I don't really believe in the human fairy myself.
Indominus 3.0, they've used the Saurophaganax clearly for its teeth, the serrated jaws. So the size of this animal is coming from where exactly? Not great ape, velociraptor, or any other of the small short-tailed shrews, dwarf crocodile, which is the smallest crocodile in the world, by the way. The size of that Indominus Rex isn't accurate by the logic we're using. In fact, the likelihood is it'd probably be around the size of a velociraptor. And it's exactly like Dr. Wu says.
You cannot have an animal with exaggerated predator features without the corresponding behavioral traits.
So let's give the Indom 3.0 a little bit of the benefit of the doubt and say it was slightly bigger than the Velociraptor. Because you've got to remember, 70% of this genome is made up of small animals. So the 30% of the T-Rex and the Saurophaganax are not going to off-put that. But what about all the other perks of the animals they've put in? Surely the traits of these dinosaurs and animals will outweigh the original Indominus Rex. You see, they have given them great ape DNA. That would enable them to have basic problem-solving skills, be able to have ambidextrous hands / thumbs, potentially enabling them to use tools, right? But you've got to remember, this Indominus 3.0 is no longer the massive killing machine. In fact, it's several times smaller than the original. So then great ape arms we can see on there wouldn't be all that big. They wouldn't even have them claws. Sure, they'd be quite muscular, but they wouldn't have them claws on the end of it. But we can say that comes from the Velociraptor. Makes sense. But having the strengths of one animal also means you have its weaknesses, and great apes, believe it or not, have terrible immunity to human pathogens, particularly stuff like influenza, stuff like the common cold, and it's actually devastating to great apes. That's one drawback. And not only that, great apes are hugely social animals. They live in big societies, and they have a tendency to absolutely hate other members of their groups. So you imagine this Indominus 3.0 has been brought up in isolation, very much like the original Indominus Rex, but now you've added great ape DNA in there, which is a highly social animal. The chances are it's going to go berserk, turn into some type of sociopath, worse than the original Indominus Rex. So now, mentally, it's probably in a state way worse than the Scorpius Rex. Coupled with the T-Rex's poor eyesight, and the pit viper DNA, enabling it to see in infrared, the infrared it sees, because of the poor Tyrannosaurus Rex DNA, is going to be all over the place. So not only is it now several times smaller,
it makes the Scorpius Rex look like she's a fucking Giga Chat.
Mentally, it's unstable, and it's got a huge weakness to basic human diseases. Now, I know you could say that the short-tailed shrew has a great immunity to pull out poisons, etc. That's why Goji put it in there. It can neutralize the poison of any type of dinosaur or animal, right? That is correct. But the short-tailed shrew, exactly like a dwarf crocodile, exactly like the whip-tailed lizard, which are all added into this genome, also have a huge weakness to the human pathogens. Meaning, all I have to do is literally sneeze on the Indominus.
So, oh, she ain't creating a plague. We're creating a plague on her, huh?
3.0. It's gonna catch my cold, and likelihood die off because of that. That's one main weakness, but
Indominus, I swear, if you kill me, if you go near me, I'll just kill you.
in a stand-up fight doesn't really mean an awful lot. The Endo 3.0 is probably still going to rip me limb from limb before I even get close. But I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about other dinosaurs and animals. And the animal I think is going to beat it, I will reveal at the end, but let's continue comparing it with the real Indominus Rex. Because as it stands, we've learned that it's several times smaller, which could play a huge factor in the battle, and it has a huge weakness to human pathogens. But I haven't talked about pit vipers yet, or the other several genomes they added in. A prime example here is the dwarf crocodile genome they added in. They wanted the dwarf crocodile genome, presumably for the armor plating it has, right? But again, given its size, makes perfect sense. The dwarf crocodile has great armor plating relative to its size. But it's also the smallest crocodile in the world. And not only that, it has a non-aggressive nature. This dwarf croc doesn't go out and attack anyone. In fact, it's far more passive than any other crocodile we know. So you now build this into the Indominus Rex. It has conflicting emotions. You have the Tyrannosaurus Rex genome, which is likely a
And the one thing they forget is Engine is gonna put track in her, like every other dinosaur, right? So, canonically, if she is so protected, she won't even be able to get her own tracker out, since, you know, she's so armored up. Would she even be able to cut herself open to get the tracker out? She'd be dead in a day, basically, because everyone would find her. Okay, that doesn't really work because the Indominus Rex died in a day, so I can't say she'd be dead in a day because, you know, G died in a day. She'll be dead in a couple of hours.
Predator, aggressive, it now conflicts with the dwarf crocodile, non-aggressive. This Endos 3.0 mind is all over the place. It's probably conflicting with itself. This would mean that the likelihood is during battle, the Indominus 3.0 would 100% be hesitating to attack or even stop outright doing their attack, giving the opposition chance to turn around the battle or strike without any resistance. But we're not done there. They also added the whiptail lizard in. Again, that's presumably because the whiptail lizard can regenerate cells. I mean, the whiptail lizard drops its tail, literally cuts it off and is able to regenerate it. But you imagine doing that in a battle with the original Indominus Rex. You've now just lost your counterweight. You know, the tail is obviously used to counter the weight of the animal to
War Thunder.
Well, I think she'd run away.
The military online action game has received a major update. Experience the MiG-23M.
Isn't an eater. If it was a
sure, it isn't top heavy. Lost its ability to use the tail as an attacking mechanism, and not only that, the whiptail lizard, when it drops its tail, requires significant energy and resources, making it extremely vulnerable after it does so. Coupled with the dwarf crocodile's non-aggressive nature, it could pop its tail off in a defensive mechanism to try and get away. But in doing so, the original Indominus would just launch a full flurry of attacks. Now, especially with it being so small, the likelihood is it could easily find itself in an extremely difficult situation with the original Indominus. Now, that's not to say it could lose, because just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's any less deadly. Look at the Endoraptor, for example. Because let's not forget the Saurophagonax, which has been added in. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that name, by the way. The teeth of that dinosaur are like serrated saws, so if it does manage to get a hold of you with the bite force from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, it could easily shred through armor and skin like no one's business, regardless of the size. So it's definitely open to cause some serious damage to whatever it sets its mind to. But that's the case here, whatever it sets its mind to. We know immediately from
this video really does show
no one's business, regardless of the size. So it's definitely open to cause some serious damage to whatever it sets its mind to. But that's the case here, whatever it sets its mind to. We know immediately from some of the genomes here, they're non-aggressive, some of them are defensive, and its mind is completely all over the place. Coupled with the poor vision from the Tyrannosaurus, it's
basically she's more of a pacifist. She'd rather be a lover than a fighter, but she really don't want this life, yeah. She'd rather be a lover than a fighter, but she don't want this life no more. She don't want to fight herself, she'd rather run away. Cut off her tail just to survive another day. She don't want to meet the Moses, she want to run from Rexy, that she's been fine for so long. Oh, she's been fine for so long. Yeah, she's been fine for so long. I'm joking.
Gonna have a difficult time here. Not to mention the loss of size because of all the genomes taken out of it. They've literally removed the Giganotosaurus, which is the one which gave it its huge size in the original Jurassic World Indominus. So in removing that, removes its size. They didn't replace the genome to replace the size. Now that's not to say that it's not dangerous, because we know it is extremely dangerous. It just puts it at a huge disadvantage. So what then could possibly completely decimate this Indominus 3.0? Well, for that, there's a common theme throughout all the new genomes and the old ones. Let's look at the natural predator list. Great ape. The natural predator to a great ape is weakness to humans. The pit viper, again, as a natural weakness to humans. The dwarf croc, you guessed it, a weakness to humans. Or what about the whiptail lizard? You've guessed it, a weakness to humans. Now that is not the human pathogens, I just mean a general weakness to humans. Deforestation, weapons, poaching, hunting for meat. And you now couple this with a new strain of dinosaur, a mutant hybrid, something which would be unstoppable, something which I've theorized on the channel before, something which finally utilizes the human intelligence. The most deadliest thing on the planet, that is humans. And just like Owen Grady says,
I would have a word with your people in the lab. That thing out there, that's no dinosaur.
That's right, you picture this in a lab. Human DNA fused with other genomes, which I'm not going to reveal today, because I believe that could be a video in itself if people want to see the showdown of the GX Rex versus Goji Center's Indominus 3.0.
Which did happen!
Who knows? Maybe I'll even make a series out of it. I'd also like to say a massive thanks to Goji for obviously making the original video. Without that, this wouldn't be possible. And I don't even know.
And thank you, Goji, because I loved reacting to each one of these videos. And honestly, Goji Sir kind of made my YouTube channel. One of my most popular videos of all time is a Goji Sir video. Obviously, support the original creator, don't support me. Well, do support me, I would like some support. But remember, I didn't create these videos. You guys could probably obviously tell that.
Need to tell you to go and check them out, because the likelihood is you're already subscribed. I just wanted to put my own 2 pence in there and have a bit of fun, and that's all this is, a bit of fun, because they're simply amazing creators. And if you enjoyed this and want to see more, let me know in the comments. Do you want me to continue this and have more fun with it? Do you want to see the GX Rex? Please let me know. And if enough of you say yeah, then I'll make it. So make sure to subscribe to stay tuned for that video and all the upcoming news on Jurassic World Rebirth, all Jurassic World lore, and not to mention all the mysteries of Jurassic Park and World, such as what was in the restricted section. I highly recommend checking them out. Massive thanks to the members who are on screen now. You guys keep the power on in the park. With extra mentions to DVM Wannabe 1018, Hammer Time, and our Jurassic CEO Joseph Frost's Ghost. And welcoming our newest members, SWAT Dude My Guy, Sarah Russell, and ABCD. Welcome. And if you happen to spot this GX Rex out in the wild, could your day get any worse? You bet Jurassic can. Catch you later.
Well, guys, that was the end of this episode. I will see you all in the next episode.